Hello everyone, this is Satya Prakash. Welcome to my channel. This is part 37 of GitHub. In this video, I'll discuss how to implement source control with Git in Visual Studio Code or VS Code. So before going through this part 37, please visit my part 36, that is how to use Git using Visual Studio, and you can get this video in my playlist called Git and GitHub tutorial. So in this video we'll discuss few points, that is how to connect VS Code to GitHub, and how to create the project and push public repo to GitHub, create project and push private repo to GitHub, and change the visibility private repo to public repo, and how to push project changes to repo or repository. So we'll discuss first how to connect VS Code to GitHub. Okay, so for that, what I'll do, I just need to open my Visual Studio Code or VS Code. All right, so this is my VS Code. All right, and you can see when you click this explore, or you can go to this shortcut called Control plus Shift plus E. So it'll go to your explore or project icon or some files icon, right? So you just click on it, and you can see there is options called open folder. And before open folder, in my local directory I have created one folder here in VS Code, that is Git with VS Code 1. Alright, so we need to open this folder using Visual Studio Code. So click on it, open folder, and I'll go to this path of my whatever I created. Alright, so here VS Code and Git with VS Code 1, and select folder. Okay, now what I'll do, guys, here uh, I can see there is no files or folders here. Alright, so I just want to copy some files and folders like index and style.cs to my this folder, right? And that is the index.html and style.css. So once I added these two files in my local directory, ultimately it will be reflected in my VS Code. You can see here, right? So if you select here index.html, so this is the content of index.html, and if you select on style.cs, this is the style.css content under Git with VS Code 1 project folder. Alright guys, so you can see here I already have created two files. Alright, and next step is we need to click on source control and then publish to GitHub. Okay, how to get the source control? You can see there is one icon here, source control, and the shortcut is Control plus Shift plus G. So if you select this, there is one option called publish to GitHub. Alright, so if you'll select here, so guys, it is showing that is the extension GitHub wants to sign in using GitHub. Alright, so if you created already a GitHub account, then it is required to sign in to that account. So I will click on allow. So once it will be allowed, you can see it redirects to the some page, and it asks for GitHub authentication, that is sign in to GitHub to continue to GitHub for VS Code. So this is my username, user email for that GitHub account, and if you have different, you can select here or give your own GitHub credentials. After then select the sign in, and it will be asked for a device verification code, which will get in your mailbox, and you should put here the verification code. So I'll go to my verification code, which is installed in my that is account yahoo.com. Alright, so I'll get that verification code from here, and I'll put here. So my verification code I'll put here, and it will redirect to the one page. Alright, and it asks for open Visual Studio Code, and I'll select here open Visual Studio. And before that, guys, it will redirect to some page called Authorize Visual Studio Code to access GitHub. And for this, you can get one more interface for putting your GitHub credentials to validate your GitHub account. Alright, and that interface will be different. And as for me, it is I already have configured that GitHub accounts credentials, so it will be good. It will ask me directly open using your Visual Studio Code. It might be some different interface, so that it will ask for you any other stuff, like you put your again the credentials. All right, and it will ask for that authorize Visual Studio Code. You can get some green button, so that after click on it, it will authorize GitHub for VS Code. Okay, all right, so this is the and in this in my scenario, I'll click on open Visual Studio Code. So once I click on Visual Studio Code, that guys, it will asking allow an extension to open this URI, and this is the GitHub authentication, and this is the URL. All right, and I will click on open here. So guys, once I click on it, and you can see there is one icon here, right? Accounts. If you select here, you can see I can see my account is already signed in, and this is the GitHub account name called Satya CS GitHub. And after doing some authentication, I can see the username of that particular sign-in account in my VS Code. All right, so I'll go here and I'll check here. And guys, you can see once you have configured the VS Code using GitHub, you don't need to sign in your GitHub account. It will automatically configured in your browser as well. So I did not configure this again by putting username and password. Once you configured in your VS Code, it automatically signed in using your browser. All right, so this is my account, GitHub account. You can see Satya CS GitHub, and as well in VS Code also it's showing that is Satya CS GitHub account, right? All right, so you can see this is all the repository list. All right, and what I'll do, the next thing is then I can see here two options, guys, right? So one is for publishing to private repo, another is one is for publish to GitHub public repository. So this is my folder Git with Visual Studio Code, and there is two options called even you can push these changes to your public repository, or you can push your changes to private repository. All right, so my next point is in my sheet, create project and publish public repo to GitHub. So guys, here what I can do is you can see in this section, in this point number 2, we already have created the project called Git with VS Code 1, and I need to push the public repo to GitHub. So what I'll do here is I just click on the publish to that is GitHub public repository, and this is the Satya CS GitHub account / Git with VS Code 1. Alright, once you select, you can see under my folder there is two files called index.html and style.css, and you can see if you want to only selected files you want to push, you can just uncheck this checkbox. But as per my requirements, I want to push all the files, so I selected the checkbox of all these files and click OK. Once you click OK, you can see under this it's published to GitHub and creating fast commit, right? And you can see the status is changing as for the operations of GitHub, that is upload to that is published to GitHub, uploading files. It is asking successfully published Satya CS GitHub with VS Code repository 1. All right, so guys, here what I'll do is I just want to change okay guys, so what I'll do is I can give some commit section. So uh, there is might be some different interface will get, like there is one pop-up is for GitHub sign in, and you can click on the sign in with your browser options, and it will redirect to the browser to show that the GitHub public repo is already created, right? So there is no pending changes, and in the section you can see there is no problems, no GitHub pending changes there. Alright, so guys, what I'll do, I just go to my account and refresh it. So guys, once you refresh in the repository list, I can see that a public repository, right, git with VS Code 1. So if you select this one, uh, you can see these two files called index.html and style.css. So in this way we can publish the public repo from VS Code to GitHub, remote GitHub account. Alright, so I also can see all these files under this folder, that is git with VS Code 1. Alright, and once it is successfully pushed, also you can get one notification. I already have shown you. Alright, that is successfully pushed to GitHub repository. Alright guys, so I'll go to my project folder. Okay, so this is how we create the project and push the public repo to GitHub. And next one is create the project and push private repo to GitHub. So guys, what I'll do is I just copy these two files again and go here, and here I'll create one more folder, that is git with VS Code 2. Alright, this is I use for private repo. I copy these two files. Alright, go to my VS Code here. Alright, and I just want to close this, and this is the way we can close. Click on file and close folder. So whatever existing folder was open, it will be closed, and the same way we will open that new folder which we have created, that is open folder. Go to my that is my local directory. Alright, and so this is the VS Code, git with VS Code 2, select folder. So I can see that folder, that is git with VS Code 2, and these two files, index.html, style.css. and here what I'll do here guys, so I need to publish those folders with files to GitHub, and how to do, just click on that is publish to GitHub. Alright, so this time guys, we need to create that is published to GitHub private repo as a private repository, not public repository. Alright, once you click on it, it will select two files and click OK. So some processing has been doing, that is successfully published this folder to repository to GitHub. To remember, this is a private repo. So how to check? You can see that you just click on that icon, click on your repositories, and in the repository list you can see the earlier one is git with VS Code 1, and the option you can see it is a public repository, and this time after published to the repository, that is git with VS Code 2, it is a private repository. So if you select this, so this is the private repository. I can see these two files whatever we have created. Alright, so in this way we can create folder, project folder, and push those files to remote GitHub repository using VS Code. And third point is fourth point is change the visibility private repo to public repo. Alright, so guys, I'll show you some difference. I just click on Okay, I just click on the duplicate of this tab so that I can open simultaneously two repositories which I have created. One is public, another is one for private repo. Alright, so yeah, this is the public repo and this is the private repo. Alright. Alright guys, so what I'll do here is uh, remember, this is the public repo and I have signed in to my GitHub account so that I can see all the repos with his files. But without sign in, can I see that two repositories? Let's check. So this is the public repo. I copy this URL, go to my incognito mode of my browser and select this, copy this, paste this URL and click enter. So without sign in, we can access the public repo with its two files. So let's check the same thing for private repo. So I'll copy this private repo URL, go to incognito mode of my browser or without sign in to this GitHub account, and I can paste this URL. So here guys, you can see this is the private repo git with VS Code 2. Without sign in, I cannot access this repository with these two files. It's showing me one error, that is 404. This is not the web page you are looking for. That means it requires some authentication to access the private repo to your browser. Alright, so this is the way we can access public and private repo in my browser. So that is for other users, the owner of private repo will provide some permissions to access their private repo. And I already have created the that is what the difference between public repo and private repo in my GitHub tutorial. You can check this in my playlist. Alright guys, so as per the points, how to change the visibility of private repo to public repo. So go to my private repo, right, after sign in to my GitHub account, and what I'll do is I just go to the settings of private repo. So click on the settings, and once you click on settings, you just scroll down a little bit, and under danger zone you can see one option called change repository visibility. This repository is currently private. I want to change it to public. Alright, so what I'll do is I just click on change visibility, and it will showing one pop-up called change to public, and it will asking make Satya CS GitHub, and this is the git with VS Code 2 public, and you can get one button called I want to make this repository public. I have read and understand these effects and make this repository public. Okay, once you click on it, and I'll go to my repository list, I can see this git with VS Code 2, the repo settings was successfully updated from private to public. So if you select this repo, and you can see the updated status was public now. So earlier I did not access this private repo without sign in. So let's check without sign in of this private repo. We have recently updated to public repo. So guys, here you can see after update the status of this repo to public, I can access this repository without sign in to my GitHub account. Alright, so in this way we can change the private to public. Alright, so what I'll do is next point is that is last point, push project changes to repo. Alright, so I'll go to my VS Code and go to the Explorer. Alright, and in index.html I just open this index.html, and I need to change some text in h1 tag, that is hello world to hello world by Satya. Alright, Satya Prakash. and save these changes. Alright, so to push those changes, I'll go to the source control. I can see some changes. So if you select the source control, I can see one there is one option called M, right? So this is ready for commit. So what I'll do here is I just put some commit message, that is the h1 tag is updated. And once you put some commit message, I can commit the changes by click on, there is one three dot options call, and I can click on push the changes here. Alright, and also okay, before the push changes, we need to commit. You can commit using this tick mark like commit, or you can click on the button commit changes. If you want to commit and push, you can do it. You can see also commit and sync, but as of now I just want to commit. So click on this tick mark, and it asking me click yes in the pop-up to stage all the changes to and commit them. So guys, here I can see the below interface after successfully commit those changes. Alright, and you can see one option is called that git with VS Code push one commits to origin or master. Alright, so to push those changes to GitHub, I need to select the push option. So how to do it? You just click on the three dot and click on this select this push option here, and we need to wait for a few minutes. Yeah, now it's done, and you can see before that it was saying one changes, and after successfully pushed there is no changes or no notification is found in here. Alright, and so that is because when you click on it, it's showing nothing is in the no pending changes. That means in source control, after successfully push, there is no changes remaining under source control options, right? And we need to check these changes after push some changes. So go to my browser, and I just refresh it. So guys, here you can see that index.html and the commit message is updated here. I want to check the content of the index.html after push the latest files, and you can see my h1 tag is updated, that is hello world by Satya Prakash. Alright, so one more scenario is, guys, here I want to create one new file under this folder. So here is one option called new file. You just select here, and I'll type here satyaprakash .html. Alright, and I have added this new file. I just copy some code to add some codes in my empty file. Alright, so this is the code, and what I'll do is I need to push the file as well as its content to our GitHub repository. Alright, so what I'll do is, guys, after adding this new file, if you'll go here, you can see the right hand side of this file. You can see one U option, right? That is the on track. That means it is on track. So this file is going to be a commit and going to be pushed to our GitHub repo. So if you select this source control, also you can see the U options of this file. That means it is on track. Alright, so here I need to put some commit message, that is new file is created. What it will do, I need to commit and select yes, and it is committed, right? So once it is committed, I need to push those changes and to our remote GitHub repository with the commit message. I just click on it, select the push. So this changes has been successfully pushed to my GitHub remote repository. So I need to check these changes to my GitHub. So I just refresh it, So guys, here you can see earlier it was showing two files, but after successfully pushed, the new file is successfully pushed to my remote GitHub, that is satyaprakash.html, and its commit message, that is new file is created. So I want to open this file. Once I open this file, I can see the content of this file, that is hello world by Satyaprakash. Alright guys, so in this way we can modify the existing file and push the changes to GitHub repo. Also we can create new file and push those changes to our GitHub repository guys. Alright, go to my slide. So in this way we can manage the source control or working with source control using VS Code. And this is my YouTube channel. Subscribe and share it to get the up-to-date knowledge on .NET, .NET Core, C#, SQL Server, MVC, Angular, DevOps, GitHub. And that's it for today guys. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.